Hi, my name is Lisa McCoy, and I'm an educator with the University of Maryland Extension, and I also am a registered dietitian. And I know that many of you are stuck at home right now, and so what we'd like to do is just talk a little bit about taking care of yourself while you're home and sheltering in place. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is staying hydrated. That's really important, making sure that you're getting enough water to keep yourself healthy. So water, we know, is essential to life. We can survive several weeks without food, but we can only really survive a few days without water. And you may wonder, well, why is that? So losing more than 10% of your body weight from dehydration can cause extreme muscle weakness and even potential heat stroke if it's warm outside. 20% loss can be life-threatening. So water is one of those essential nutrients that we need every day. And you may wonder, where does all that water go? So all of our tissues in our body contain water, some more than others. Like our fluids, like blood, obviously are going to have more water. Blood is about 83% water. Even our lean muscle tissue is about 70 to 75% water, whereas our body fat is only about 10 to 40% water. And our bones are about 22% water, which is interesting because they're pretty hard and you wouldn't even think that they had that much water in them. So on average, our bodies contain about 50 to 65% water by weight. The leaner you are, the higher your proportion. Remember we mentioned that our lean muscle tissue has more water than our body fat. So it also depends on your age, your gender. We know that males usually have a little bit more lean muscle tissue, so they tend to have a higher percentage of water. And to give you some perspective, when newborns, their weight is actually 75% water when they're born. But with age and time, older adults really only have about 50% of their body weight comes from water. So what does that water do in our bodies? One of the important things that it does is it helps to regulate our body temperature. It keeps us from getting too hot or too cold. You'll notice that when you're outside in the summertime and you get hot, you start perspiring more. And that means that your body is getting off more water to help to regulate your body temperature so it doesn't go too high. And when you're cold in the wintertime, you shiver, and that helps to bring that body temperature back into the normal range. It also helps to dissolve the nutrients from the food that we're eating. Those nutrients are really important, and they go to the cells to do their function and their work. But the water is important to help to transport them to each of the cells of our body. Water also plays a role in carrying those waste products out of our body through our urine and our bowels. It also helps to moisten body tissues like those that we find in our mouth and our nose and our eyes. Our main part of our body fluids, as we mentioned, our blood, but also our gastric juices that are in our stomach, and also our saliva and our urine are made up mostly of water. Water even helps to lubricate those joints that we have and helps to cushion our organs and our tissues with some water around those. One of the most important roles that water does in our bodies for older adults is it helps to prevent constipation. So how do you know if you need more water? Well, usually our first thing we look for is when we get thirsty, it must mean that we need water. Actually, when you have that thirst mechanism kicks in, you're already starting with mild dehydration, perhaps 1% dehydrated. And with older adults, you lose that thirst sensation. So you may not get thirsty as much, and you can become more dehydrated before you actually feel that thirst mechanism kick in. So once you feel thirsty, you're already mildly dehydrated. So we have to kind of play ahead of the game and just drink the water even if we're not thirsty. Another symptom of being mildly dehydrated is tiredness with fatigue. So sometimes when people feel fatigued, they think that they need a nap or they think maybe they're hungry, they need some more food. But actually just drinking a glass of water may help to improve that fatigue. Other symptoms of mild dehydration could be dry mouth, it could be flushed skin, or a headache. And you can move from like a mild dehydration, which is about 1 to 5% of water loss weight, to moderate dehydration, which is about 6%, pretty quickly. And you'll find like you have a higher body temperature, you increase breathing and rapid pulse, and then you get to more severe dehydration, which finds yourself in delirium, swollen tongue, muscle spasms. And then once we mentioned earlier is that if the dehydration continues, it can be life-threatening. So it's important to make sure that you're getting adequate fluids in throughout the day so that you don't get dehydrated. So how do you get water in your diet? Water is the main thing, obviously. You know, that's one of the best ways you can get water into your body, but also other fluids like coffee, tea, or juices that you may drink. So some people will say, but doesn't the caffeine in the coffee and tea act as a diuretic, so it's taking fluid out of your bodies? And that it's true, the caffeine is considered a diuretic, but I think it balances out. We don't want to have only coffee and tea all day long, but if you have your coffee and tea 1 or 2 cups a day, it's not going to really cause you to become dehydrated, but you do want to make sure you're drinking water as well. Also, including fruits and vegetables in your diet will help to get more water into your body, because some of those contain up to 90% water. Example, watermelon. You know, by the name, we know that it has a lot of water in it. Tomatoes have water, a higher percentage of water. Celery does, and lettuce. Even our dry foods, like bread, contain some water. So you can get water just having a healthy diet. Also, you actually get water from your body's metabolism. When you're eating those foods and they're getting broken down and digested in your body, one of the outputs is water that goes into your body. So people always ask, well, how much water do I need? And one thing we look at is, well, how much water are you losing in a day? So the average adult loses about 10 or more cups of water daily. And this can occur through perspiration, urination, bowel movements, and breathing. And you may say, but I don't really perspire that much. I don't think I lose that much. Well, you can perspire all the time because your body's just keeping that temperature regulated. But then if you perspire more, you're actually losing more water than those 10 or more cups. And the same thing with the breathing. You know, we think, well, how do I lose water when I'm breathing? And one of the things we've learned through this pandemic is when they're recommending that you wear a mask when you go outside, it's because even just talking, you actually have water droplets that come out of your mouth. So you do just breathing normally, you are actually expelling some water and losing some water. The dietary reference intake for how much water an adult needs is for males about 15.5 cups and for females about 11.5 cups. Now that sounds like a lot, and I don't want you to get too excited right now. That's including water from our food, from our drinks, and also water that happens from our body, from our digestive processes. So it's not that you need to drink 15.5 cups. So how much do I need to drink is the next question. So if you drink about 8 to 9 cups, and when I say a cup, I mean 8 ounces. So if you're drinking, I have this water bottle here, it's about 16 ounces. So that's like 2 cups there. If you drink about 8 to 9 cups of water a day, along with eating a healthy diet, it should be adequate to keep you hydrated. Now, if you're exercising strenuously, or perspiring more when it gets warmer outside, you may need to drink a little bit more, maybe an extra cup or 2. One of the best ways to see if you're staying hydrated is to check your urine. So you should have your urine, if it's a small amount of urine and it's very dark yellow, that means that you're not hydrated enough. Your urine should be the color of a pale yellow or like the color of lemonade. So that's a really easy way to check to see if you're hydrated. So some final tips to help keep you hydrated is to start your day with a glass of water. Now I know many of you, like myself, like to have that cup of coffee in the morning just to get you going. Well, that's okay. You can have that cup of coffee, but also have that glass of water or something right beside you as well. And keep that water with you as you go throughout your day. Now your routine has changed a lot from what you have been usually doing. So you're home more and maybe you're not as active. But even when you're home working on the computer or looking at the computer, have that glass of water beside you. Or if you're out taking a walk, take your water bottle with you. You know, if you have it beside you, you're more likely to drink it than if it's something you have to go and get. And if you're exercising at home, have the water bottle with you. Take a glass of water, have a water glass with you by your bedside. So if you wake up in the middle of the night, take a glass of water. Have a drink of water before you go to bed at night. So just kind of always have it with you. If you don't like the taste of water, and I hear that a lot from people, I just don't like water, then there is a thing you can do, some things you can do. One is you can have infused water, and you probably have heard about that. So you can infuse the water with fruits like strawberries, kiwi, lemons, limes, oranges, or you can even add cucumbers to the water. Some people like cucumber water. When you have meals, drink water with your meals instead of other beverages. You can have those other beverages between meals, but if you try to make sure that you're drinking water with all of your meals, then there's 3 cups right there every day that you're getting with those meals. Eating a variety of fruits and vegetables each day also helps to get that water in because you're getting some water from those foods. And once again, checking the color of your urine is your guide to make sure that you can see if you're staying hydrated or not. So take care, stay safe, and be well, and stay hydrated.